What is up, everybody? Aaron the Dog here with another breakdown show. We are here for Bellator 263, taking place on Saturday, July 31st at 6 p.m. starting on Saturday again for this Bellator Saturday. But yeah, I agree. Being late is so unprofessional. That's why we are here by myself now. Thanks, Digesting Cinema, for that comment. Appreciate that. But you know me. Gonna get started with the breakdown with or without Brandon of MMA Wagers. He's supposed to show up. Made the request for the earlier time. Yeah, we'll see if he shows up. Look who popped up. Hi, Brandon. Can't hear you. Can't hear you. Nope, cannot hear you. Yep, you are completely muted. That is good. That is good. Good start to the breakdown here. Brandon, you're muted. Maybe like plug in a microphone or unplug your microphone. Yeah, finally I can actually get through a point. Good point here. Now I actually can get through my points. So can't hear you, Brandon. I'm going to get started with the breakdown because that's what people are here for. Hopefully you can figure out your audio. But as of now, Brandon is having some technical difficulties. But I'm going to get started here. We got two breakdowns today on the channel. Going to finish up with the LFA breakdown later on. So let's see how Brandon's doing. Hey, buddy. Talk. Nope, cannot hear you. So don't know what you did, but I literally can't hear you. I don't know what the fuck. I'm not sure. I can't hear you. But I'm gonna get started, man. You can keep kind of popping in and out. I'll try to add you and just test it. But let me see. It says can't unmute mic because your mic is not connected. I'm going to start the breakdown here. We're leading off with a breakdown that, honestly, I don't need Brandon too much for his thoughts on. We're starting out here in a catchweight bout at 190 between a debut fighter who is 33 years old from Virginia named Justin Berry and Daniel Compton, nicknamed Santo, former middleweight, 33 years old, fighting on a Smash Fighter team, 3-3. This is about as Bellator of a prelim, old school Bellator prelim as we're going to get here. Oh, sorry. I got distracted. Let me see if Brandon's back. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. Can you hear me?
Hey, yes, we can hear you. Thanks for showing up early so we can test out our tech ahead of time. And not
I said
on
301. I was 302. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Anyways, I just was getting started with the first breakdown. Good to have you, Brandon of MMA Wagers, for those of you unobliged. But yeah, we're starting out with a pretty terrible prelim, or maybe not a terrible prelim, but a prelim where there's
terrible on a Bellator card. Come on, it's gonna be semi good.
Yeah, you're talking like it's back in 2015 or something again, but
1993, bud. 1993.
33-year-old Daniel Compton, I'll be starting with. Lost his last fight. He's known as a Muay Thai fighter, fighting on a Smash Fighter fight team. I've seen that team a few times. I'm not sure. Can't recall who. He has fought in Bellator once before back in September of 2019. He was rear naked choke. That was his last fight against Ivan Batinich. Overall, seems like he does go for the rear naked choke. 3 of his 4 wins. Last 4 wins, amateur and pro, coming by rear naked choke. He's taking on a 0-0 fighter in Justin Berry from Virginia. It's a catchweight fight. 1-0 as an amateur, so he does have 1 amateur fight. It was won by Keylock back in 2013. So he's taken 7 18s off. Good to have you here, Mr. Raul Nerdy Chiqueño in the hizzy, always on Team Aaron and mentioned very slightly by Wagers.
On our
good
next
to have
video,
everybody
I'm
here.
gonna have a really nice shirt, and he might change his team. He might just change his team.
Yeah, get get all dressed up.
Yeah,
Bunny
get ready
also
for
in the
LFA
comments
later,
here.
boys and girls.
Yeah, do you have much of a read on this fight, though? Honestly, it's 0-0 versus a 3-3 opponent.
Okay,
1-0
obviously I have a
is-
read, Aaron. Like, I'm a fucking MMA analyst, okay? I have a read.
Okay, Brandon, educate me on this fight then.
I'm just going to say Justin Berry hasn't fought since 2013, so that's 8 years ago. And the game has changed so much. Daniel Compton has obviously been active. This will be a 7th MMA fight. And I think you just got to go with the more active fighter who's actually been competing and learning and winning at least half the time. So, yeah, that's my read.
There we go. God, I loved it in the comments, seeing people, Raul and Bunny getting all together. So your read is basically,
Tune in for LFA too.
Yeah, not to mention, coming out hot, saying I'm an MMA analyst. Of course, I have a read. All right, Brandon. I didn't mean to insult you here. It's okay.
Well, I'm on here for a reason, right? So.
And of course, Raul might as well get a shirt made with this. But I'm going to get to the odds real quick here. Sorry to not have them pulled up here. But going to get to the odds. LFA, again, will be later today, right after this breakdown, actually. And with this one, do they even have – I don't believe there are odds available on this fight. So essentially, this is like an LFA prelim fight where there isn't even odds made for this fight. I think it was probably put together pretty late. I am seeing Justin Berry is actually the favorite. So the guy who's been off since 2013 is the favorite on the one book I can find. Minus 145 favorite, Justin Berry. I don't know if I've
Friday we should have odds on our bookie.
Yeah, well, it looks like it is starting to come out. I'm guessing this was a fight made kind of last second, but I'm not going to touch it no matter what. I'm good. I don't want to lose my.
Passing on underdogs in the low-level MMA scene.
Yeah, but I need some sort of tape on one of them, and Justin Berry hasn't fought since.
I'm taking experience. That's all I'm taking. And he's like 32, Justin Berry. He's not even like a fresh daisy, you know?
Yeah, but that's not a fight. Even though I'm an analyst, I don't have much of a read on. But this next fight, I definitely have a read on. We are at bantamweight here, really high level bantamweight fight for so early on the card. This is more what I've become accustomed to with Bellator prelims. Is high level fighters, pretty relevant. One of the fighters winning. Eventually probably moving on to a main card pretty soon after this. I believe Brian Moore has been on main cards before. Brian Moore, 13-7, 33 years old in 11 months, turns 34 in 2 weeks. So actually about a week out from when the fight takes place. Sure? That's according to Tapology, yes. Jordan Winski. Whoa, dude. Let me just get through the breakdown.
Sorry, buddy. You're right. You're
birthday in a minute, dude.
The Pikeman. Okay, sorry.
Right. Jordan, Winski. His nickname is I'm Gonna. That's kind of, I always like when they punt. Also 32 and a half years old. He's been off for a couple of years now, but 11-2 overall. Record for the 5'9", bantamweight fighter, 71-inch reach. Fighting out of Wisconsin. Winski's also fought out of Sam Alvey's camp before, at least previously when he was in LFA. Was able to go back and watch a few of his last fights. Was able to watch both of his LFA fights against Mike Hamill. He was able to submit Mike Hamill inside of a round. That was very impressive back in 2018. He was knocked out by Ryan Lilly, who came in on about 2 weeks' notice. And it's something that Winski does in quite a few of his fights. And you'll see in a lot of lower level fights, lower level MMA fights, is the naked leg kicks. Winski throws those quite a bit. Even after the naked leg kick is what got the counter right hook from Ryan Lilly and got him knocked out. But even afterwards, he was throwing those still in the next two fights as well. He is coming off of a split decision win to Terrion Ware back in 2019 in CFFC. He's taking on the 13-7 former featherweight Brian Moore, the Pikeman, 13-7. Very, very interesting record. You could put it as that. 5'8", 69-inch reach. You will have a slight reach disadvantage here. Fighting out of SBG. is coming off of two wins in Bellator in his last two fights in Bellator. One coming to Sonley Bean. Don't really know who that is, and I believe that was at bantamweight. And then against Simone Diana, he kind of went back up to featherweight. So that's something that's a little bit concerning for me. Kind of going back and forth on the weight for Brian, but frankly, I do think he's a bantamweight, but I'm wondering how that weight cut's going to be for him getting into 33, 34 year range. Those weight cuts aren't getting easier. But I think this should be a very good fight. I do think Winski often will be the counter fighter, uses movement, leg kicks, and he does have decent grappling, but he'll sometimes allow his opponent to walk him down. And when he becomes the aggressor at times, he leaves himself susceptible to some defense laps. I don't know. I think that I'm leaning towards Brian more in this fight. I do like that he's been in Bellator for 5 fights now. I mean, he's got a 3 rounds against A.J. McKee where he was so severely outsized and out athleticism in that fight. I'm not sure what the word is, but I mean, he got to the 3rd round and it was a very good fight. Brian Moore did mark him up quite well and won the 2nd round. And then in the 3rd round, got in a scramble against McKee, and McKee just took like a very odd, like 3/4 back mount, and just, he has a crazy squeeze. Like, I'm not going to hate that. The Noah Lahat fight was competitive as well. So this guy is very competitive with guys who are much bigger and stronger than him. And I think it's just a weight cut for me that leaves me a little hesitant here, because there's a reason he's been fighting at featherweight, and it's not because his frame is made for it. So I want to see weigh-ins. Winski hasn't fought since 2019, but I'm going to lean towards, who's going to be the hungrier, more aggressive fighter in this, and Brian Moore. I think having McKee fighting on the main event when he knows he gave McKee his hardest fight inside of Bellator so far is going to be motivating for him. And Winski's been off for a couple years, Bellator debut. I like Moore. And I'll go by TKO.
Yeah, man. TKO, you think?
Yep, I'm going to go for the finish here. I do think that there's been a few times where Winski in the fights I've been able to watch has some odd reactions to getting hit pretty square. I'm not sure if he likes getting hit, which I know kind of doesn't make sense, but yeah.
That's where I'm at. This is his Bellator bantamweight debut, I believe.
It's his Bellator debut.
No. I mean Brian Moore. I don't think. He has been fighting in bantamweight.
He fought bantamweight one other time.
Yeah, he fought featherweight last fight. Yep. It sucks for Brian Moore because he's been game planning for Eric Perez. Unfortunately, he tested positive for COVID, and then he's been training for Jared Scoggins, Justin Scoggins' brother, and Scoggins tested for COVID. So now this is his 3rd opponent. He's finally getting into the cage with somebody. Hopefully this comes into fruition. And Jordan Winski is no slouch. Like, I love his nickname. First of all, I'm gonna Winski. Like, how can you not love that?
It's crazy for Brian Moore to have 3 legit opponents as this. None of these short notice opponents have at all been an easier fight. I think all 3 are equally challenging, including Winski. So
exactly,
this is like very high respect to Moore from Bellator, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Brian Moore, he has a lot of fan support. Like, whenever you're an Irish fighter, you're going to get a lot of fan support. And it sounds like he's in the right mind space. I think he's been training with Kiefer Crosby and James Gallagher at Glory MMA with James Krause. So he's obviously in good hands, and he obviously trains with SPG Ireland. That's his that's where he mainly started with John Kavanagh. And I like his chances here. He's only lost to the best. Noad Lahat, I think that might have been in Israel, so that was Noad's let's just double check. Oh no, that was an Oklahoma fight. But Noad's like a UFC vet. He's a tough opponent. He did win a round there. But yeah, I like Brian Moore to. I think it's going to come down to the 3rd round, to be honest, because these 2 opponents have a lot of round 1 and round 2 finishes. So it might be 1-1 going into the third, I think Brian Moore is going to be more conditioned and should edge out a unanimous decision 29-28 in my opinion.
Okay, so we're both on Brian Moore here. I was going back and forth on this, but I do like the Bellator familiarity. I do think there's a strength and size advantage. And I mean, going back and watching that A.J. McKee Brian Moore fight, I highly recommend everybody does so.
Yeah.
If that doesn't make you a fan of this guy, I mean, he was going in just so
a hard test.
Yeah, he marked him up, and I'll get to it when we break down A.J. McKee and Pitbull, but definitely made that breakdown much more complicated for me. That fight.
And by the way, is that your free T-shirt from when you went live?
This is from Fight Club when I paid $90 to UFC so I could buy tickets earlier.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you got the free tee. It's looking good, man.
Yep, thanks. Only the best here. But this is a very good fight. I think tough for Brian Moore to have so many different opponent changes and all of them be so high level.
I hope he pulls it off. Like I'm just not as like I'm gonna be putting money on him, but just as a fan, I'm a fan of the Irish. I don't know why, but I always want them to succeed.
And the odds have been shifting towards Brian, or actually towards Brian, plus 105 for the underdog Brian Moore in this situation. Though Jordan Winski is the favorite at minus 120. I think people see a 13-7 record and often don't dig into it. I think that records are misunderstood often in MMA. And we'll see guys in the UFC who are 16-12 at times, who are 20-13. Like we will see these records and losses. If you come back from losses over and over again, you're a savage. That means like you're about right. Which I know I nailed last week.
Yeah, you cashed.
Yeah, I cashed that one. That was a tough week.
You have to take a look at the losses, though. That's the thing. If he's lost to Scrubs, then I understand. But he's lost to, like Mike Wilkinson, who was in the UFC.
Right. A.J. McKee Jr.
Daniel Weichel. Yeah, Weichel. And A.J. McKee.
You say it like a V because it's
got a belt coming up. So you really have to dig into the records.
Yep. So I love that dog, Brian Moore, to start. Apparently, we're on two dogs because we took the 3-3 guy who's currently also a dog against Justin Berry. So we get odds. Yeah, which I won't be betting on that fight. But next fight here, we're at
a parlay. You could throw him in a parlay.
Next fight here, we're at lightweight. Georgie Karakian taking on a Kiefer Crosby. Another fantastic fight. Insane versus Big Daddy. We'll be starting with Big Daddy Kiefer Crosby. Have trouble calling a grown man that or any man that, but oh well. 8-2 overall for Big Daddy. Weighed in for his last lightweight fight at 159. So not the weight you're supposed to.
I think it might have been a catchweight fight.
Let me check. It was against Charlie Leary, which I remember watching that fight. And it was a catchweight fight. So fair. Yeah. Yep. It was a 160 catchweight fight. Charlie Leary 16.
And this is a catchweight fight too, I believe, or maybe not.
It says lightweight.
Okay, so maybe
yeah. So Charlie Leary, gone back and watched that fight. That is kind of a classic. The Hammers used to being the Hammer, and when the Nail fought back a little bit. Kiefer kind of wilted a little bit, and Charlie really laid it on him towards the end of that first round. Charlie's a very legit veteran for sure, but I mean, I got a little scared off from what I saw of Kiefer that night, and even in the fight before that, he was really struggling. He got a split decision against Imak Furtado, not the highest level of opponent. If we go to Furtado, I believe he's actually lost a few more since this fight. And he's 34 years old. Yeah, he lost to Chris Duncan in his very next fight. I remember he did not look great. And I think he could have arguably won against Kiefer. So overall, I mean, he's just against Mike Jackson, 12-12 fighter. He had an illegal knee. I mean, just there was a lot of hype coming in with Kiefer Crosby, and I'm not seeing it come to fruition too much so far. He is very much a bully, comes forward, looks to put the pressure and the strikes on you for the most part. But again, Charlie Leary, who I think he was expecting to go in there and run over, when Charlie Leary kind of put that opposition back on him, started striking back, Kiefer did not respond great to that adversity, and I think he's taking a significant step up here against the 30-11 Georgi Karakian. I get Georgie's kind of been up and down, but he is coming off of a win.
That's a good record.
Yeah, it's a fantastic record. He's 36 years old, fighting on Millennia MMA. And his win came over Bryce Logan. I think Bryce Logan is a more difficult opponent.
It shouldn't have been a split either.
And it shouldn't have been a split. We've talked about this fight a few times now.
Yeah.
Georgie had a split against Miles Jury.
Could have easily won that fight too.
Yeah, went in there, took care of Paul Redmond. I got Georgie all day in this fight. I do think Kiefer will have a size advantage, but I think Georgie has the skill, talent. I believe he'll have the cardio and the tenacity all checked in Georgie's way. I think this is a tougher fight for Kiefer coming off of 2 subpar performances also. I think he's part of SBG, has a big name, has that Irish kind of flair to him again, and he's been Bellator for a while now, so you've got to start giving him these types of fights. But again, he's coming off a loss to Charlie Leary, 16-11-1. The veteran savvy affected him there. We're going to see it here too, in my opinion. I got Georgie. I think get out of the first round, extend that gas tank, and I would expect a submission round 2 or 3.
Yeah, man. Like Kiefer Crosby is another guy that's located to Glory MMA with James Krause. He used to be with SBG Ireland. I think we were just speaking about that. And Georgie is like a beast, man. He's been in the Bellator promotion since Patricio Pitbull, I'm pretty sure. Like, he's a vet in the
World Series of Fighting before that. Yeah, he's been around for so long.
And Kiefer Crosby, this is only his 11th fight professionally, and he really hasn't proved anything. Like Mike Jackson, he got an illegal knee. Like he lost to Mike Jackson, who's 12 and what, 13?
12 and 12
13
at the time.
and 12, yeah, 13 and 12 now. But yeah, I was hoping, I was praying. This is one of the fights I did see the odds on, and I was praying Georgie would be a underdog.
Me too.
I did notice the odds, and last time I checked, he's a -195.
It's been shifting towards Georgie. It's continuing to shift towards Georgie. No one is fooled by the hype train of Kiefer Crosby after that Charlie Leary performance. It was a very bad performance. You can go on YouTube
I
and see
lost
it.
money on that fight, I'll be honest.
I did too. I mean, and Charlie Leary will never have a better performance than that either.
Yeah.
So, Georgie was not able to fool, he's been one of the biggest movers. -275 now, plus 200.
No way. 275? Man.
No one.
Kiefer did lose by guillotine as an amateur, and Georgie could definitely do that, and he's on that carnivore diet. If you haven't heard, Georgie, all he eats is meat. It's strictly carnivore. He's moved up to lightweight, so the weight cut, like, it's so easy.
He's 36 years old. He's still got a few years left, and I will always root for someone who is a carnivore diet person because I'm unofficially that. So I'm going to be like, anytime, like, if it's a vegan.
You're a carnivore diet person too?
Yeah, unofficially. It was my joke that I like just eating steaks a lot and things. It's not. I probably don't.
Yeah, that's what Georgie does, man.
But yeah, exactly. Meat eaters stick together here. Whenever it's a vegan, I'm just like kind of like boo, Yeah, what up, Taj? Legend here.
That's what's killing our race here is the vegans.
Hey, I just want to talk to Taj real quick. Taj, I promise you, time codes will eventually be coming. Taj,
we have to give him some pipes right now.
Yeah, there you go. Muy fuerte.
He's doing it. Yeah, timestamps are coming, okay?
Timestamps are coming. Brandon will be writing those down for me.
Oh, yeah, I got them right here, bud.
But that is.
You want to start off this next fight? I'll be right back. My dog.
That's fine. That's fine. Yeah, but
She's
Georgia
being funny. I don't
Karakian.
know what's wrong with her. One sec.
Yeah, Georgia Karakian is our pick here. Moving on to the next fight here. It is at another catchweight, 180 catchweight fight. So a couple catchweight fights here on this Bellator prelim. Johnny Cisneros, Bellator veteran, taking on Joshua Jones. Joshua Jones, 10-5, moving up from lightweight here for this 180 bout against Cisneros, a welterweight. Joshua Jones, as I said, 10-5, 31 years old, 5'8", 66.5-inch reach. So he is very, very stocky for this 180 bout. Has coming off of a one-fight win streak against the 12-1 Brandon Bender in his Bellator debut. That was back in January of last year. Really came in there and looked very good, dominating with mostly wrestling and cage pressure. That was a catchweight at 160. He's now fighting a catchweight at 180 a year later. I don't really get it. He did fight for Bellator twice prior when he took on Dominic Clark, got a win there, lost to Darren Smith Jr. by knockout. Has faced Jacob Rosales and Christian Aguilar as well, losing to both those guys, but still very good levels of competition, fighting at lightweight in those bouts. Overall, has faced a decent level of competition, looked very well-rounded in his Bellator return against Brandon Bender, and Brandon Bender was 12-1 at the time, although Johnny Cisneros, not so much. 13-7, 41 years old, 5'10", 72.5-inch reach. Fighting on Joker's MMA, will have a 6-inch reach advantage for this catchweight fight. Our second 13-7 fighter here, coming off of the win versus Mike Jasper. It did come by a foot injury, but it was a very good fight, honestly. Before that, fought Johnny Mercurio, who I'm not familiar with, 8-8, lost a majority decision here. Had a finish of a 4-5 guy, fought on the Liddell Ortiz card. Has been knocked out by Melender back in Bellator. He's been in and out of Bellator. He's back here at 41 years old, taking on Joshua Jones. I do think that Jones needs to get in, make this dirty, but Cisneros kind of does have a tricky Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game, and that 6-inch reach advantage for Cisneros could be an issue, but I think most fights Joshua is used to having that reach disadvantage. So I'm going to take Joshua to get inside the kitchen here, push the pace on the 41-year-old, and most likely a decision win for Joshua.
Yeah, this was another late fight, I believe, like 8 days notice or something.
Yeah.
Because when I initially researched this card, this fight wasn't on there. So I think it's a late fight. We'll see how they come in. Joshua Jones is a Team Body Shop fighter. So that's A.J. McKee's camp with his dad. So we know he's in good hands, but he really hasn't proved himself yet. He's looked very mediocre. I couldn't believe Johnny's age. When I saw his age, I'm like, this must be a heavyweight fight. But this is a 170 fight, I believe. It's welterweight.
It's 180 catchweight, according to
it's a catchweight 175.
It says
Right?
180 on it
Oh,
says
sorry, 180. Yeah, 180.
Which is weird because Joshua had a 160 catchweight in his last fight 2 years ago.
Yeah, he's gonna be huge, man. If he can initiate the wrestling, I think he can just take him down, rinse and repeat.
That's what he did
41
against
years
Bender.
old, you really shouldn't be fighting anymore unless you're in the light heavyweight or the heavyweight division. And Johnny really hasn't proved himself either. So both these guys are like, how can you like make yourself reputable after getting a knockout by a foot injury? Like that doesn't mean anything to me. Both these guys do get dominant decisions though. Both these guys are very competitive. I've seen them both win 30-26 scorecards. So, and Joshua, I think, has faced the better opposition. We just saw Arut Pagasian in Fury FC last week. He is a force to be reckoned with. We're going to be hearing about him. Jacob Rosales, who I mistaken for Jacob Silva, but I don't think we'll be talking about him for much longer. Jacob Silva, poor
No, we
guy.
won't. No, we
And
won't.
Christian Aguilar is his fucking kryptonite. I think he's
Yep.
lost to Christian Aguilar twice as an amateur, and now he's lost to him as a professional. So yeah, at least he's been in there with like very reputable names, even like UFC vets. So yeah, I got Joshua Jones. I was very skeptical as soon as I saw 41 for Johnny. I said if this is heavyweight, he's got a chance, but this is a 180 catch weight. So I'm gonna go Joshua Jones, who's training with A.J. McKee and his dad Antonio McKee.
Yep.
Yeah, I like him in this spot.
Yeah, Josh Jones, a minus 200 favorite, unfortunately.
That's okay. That's
It's
you
just
can
tough.
put $1,000 to win 500.
He does have a significant reach disadvantage. He has been fighting smaller opponents compared to Cisneros, and he's 10-5. It's just hard for me to completely hitch on too heavy to that. But
yeah, I hear you.
At the same point, I understand him being the favorite.
They both have not fought since the pandemic era as well, I believe.
Yep, good point. Next fight here is a featherweight bout between Kashan Magomed Sharapov. Sorry,
Sharapov.
Taking on Jonathan Quiros. 3-4 Jonathan Quiros taking on 5-0 Russian Magomed Sharapov. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. I do believe this is, this is somewhat of a squash match for Kassan to come in here and look good. 34-year-old Sancho Quiros. I will break down first 3-4 overall, coming off a loss to A.J. Agazarm, who is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu specialist back in 2019. I do remember that fight, and I think Quiros actually had an argument to win that fight, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, he won a round, and
then the third round was
28 at the end of the day.
And it was pretty competitive third round. He does have a win over Ryan Lilly, who is a decent regional guy.
He's a common team on this card.
Yeah, Ryan Lilly knocked out Winski pretty hard, though. Lost to Kyler Phillips and Albert Montanez, two notable bantamweights. Again, Julian Baez is not a great win.
Phillips is a can. He just lost to Haile and Pava. I'm joking.
I didn't call him
a draw. That should have been a fucking draw.
I didn't call him a can.
No, I'm saying he's a can. As a joking matter.
So Magomed Sharapov, 5-0. No, I haven't heard of the opponents he's faced, but he's gotten stoppages in 4 of the 5 opponents. He has been fighting since December of 2019 and stayed pretty active through December of 2020. And then he had a fight scheduled with Nekazı Mirakahave, 5-3 opponent. This is Mirakahave. I've never heard of.
No.
So again,
and he's American somehow.
Yeah, somehow. But they went from one to another. Kassan via stoppage. I'm not going to spend too much time on this.
From? There's no way he's from America. It's got to be like a Russian or a...
Yeah, I think he's Armenian. It looked like the Armenian flag. But what do you have any thoughts on Kassan here, or are you kind of?
This is the Beat's brother, by the way, younger brother.
Yeah,
Zabit Magomed Sharapov.
So expect 4-digit. Expect 4-digit odds.
Yeah. Well, I haven't looked at the odds yet, but that's his younger brother. I think Zabit's taken a turn into coaching because I've seen him coach a few Bellator fights. It's not just Kassan. He's with a few Dagestani fighters. And I can't wait for a Bellator or a UFC to go to Dagestan because that will be an epic event. And
we'll fill it up with all Dagestani fighters, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's so easy to fill a card with those fighters. There's so many of them. So
and all these guys, all these Nurmagomedovs, all these Magashapirov cousins and stuff who are coming over to Bellator are absolutely taking over. Exactly, this is minus 1,100 odds, just to let you know. So you don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this.
No. I just wanted to say Jonathan Quiros is coming in short notice. that is probably another reason why the odds are so inflated. I think everybody knows what's going to happen here. Kassan is a 20-year-old phenom. I saw a highlight video of him, and as soon as he gets his submissions in, they tap instantly. Usually, people who get submissions, like, you got to really work it in. It might take, 20, 25 seconds if you're really comfortable with it. But this
And
guy,
he's
literally,
20.
you
And
get
he's
your
20.
forearm in, they're tapping. So I'm going to
And
go
he's
first
20.
round submission for Kassan.
Yeah, and he's 20 years old. That would definitely be impressive to get the first round submission, considering the submission defense of Quiros was decent against A.J. Aglam.
Watch
Against
the
AJ.
highlight video, buddy. Watch that.
Oh, I've seen it.
It honestly just got uploaded today. So
Yeah, I saw it earlier today, and
you
it was
did? Okay.
very impressive for
Yeah.
sure. We got another sibling in this next bout. This is a 150 bout, so another catchweight bout.
A lot. That's the theme of this card too.
I'm not into
Multiple
catchweight.
catchweights.
I'm not into catchweight.
It's okay. I like catchweight fights because they don't have to fucking kill themselves.
Yeah, but Godzi Rabadanov is the brother of Loik Rabadanov from PFL.
Okay, in PFL.
PFL finalist over there. Godzi is
he did make it to the finals.
In the first season, I believe.
Okay, not this year. Not this year.
Yeah, not this year. Don't quote me, though, on that. But 5'9",
no,
got 145 before this, 15-4-2, taking on Daniel Scary Carey. I do like Daniel Carey. He's a wild man for sure. Playing Family Combat Fitness, which I just find to be a funny gym to be like your fighting gym, like Family Combat. I just imagine it being like a 24-hour fitness type place with like Pilates going on in the background as he's like
a
wrestling.
Planet Fitness environment.
Yes, he's like wrestling his friend over in the corner. Daniel Carey is coming off of a starching against Aaron Pico, but it's Aaron Pico, no shame there. Before that, he beat Gaston Bolaños, the kickboxing specialist, and in that fight, he made it a good old-fashioned MMA fight. Took a few of those leg kicks, crowded him, got him down to the ground, and finished him with a really nice guillotine. Before that, lost to Adil Benjialani, who we broke down a few weeks ago for Bellator, I believe last week for Bellator.
Yeah, we got an underdog odds on that.
Yeah, and we nailed that one. But yeah, very good fighter. Aaron Webb, also a decent fighter. Chris Lincioni, a good grappler as well. So really a good record here for Daniel Carey. Honestly, he's faced a lot of notable opponents here for sure, and shown definitely some good grappling overall in those fights. But yeah, this is tough.
I just have to ask you: do you know Robodanov's age?
Godzi, I do not know.
I know. Why is it not on Tapology or Sherdog?
Yeah,
and he fought in PFL, didn't he?
No, I don't.
Yeah, he did. He's 1-0 in PFL.
Yeah, he was 1-0 in. Okay, he was 1-0 in PFL. But
no age.
No age, but Godzi Rabananov he looks like he could be anywhere between
maybe 33.
He looks like anywhere between 26 and 41. Like most Eastern European fighters. Whatever is on his birth certificate, you can't necessarily believe that.
No,
either.
It's like a Cuban.
But yeah, he's coming off of a win against Valery Gritsutin, a 10-7 fighter in EFC. Before that, lost to Mehdi Dakayev in EFC. But he did fight back in February of 2021. He has been active through the pandemic, had 2 fights.
Absolutely,
Had 2 fights in 2020, 3 fights in 2019, 2 in 2018. He stays pretty active.
I don't realize, I just don't understand how they don't have his age. He's got so many fights.
Yeah, and he debuted back in 2013, so that does place him at around the 30 to 33 year range.
That's what I'm thinking.
Loik has been looking pretty solid over in PFL, and so far, I believe he split 1-1 this season, but definitely has been competitive. I think he just came off of a good knockout as well. I do think this is a tricky one, one I'm not going to be betting too heavy. A part of me wants to go with Daniel Carey. I'm going to go with Godzi, though. I just think Godzi is the more well-rounded, skilled fighter in this case. And the experience is on his edge. And I do think that Carey, I just think Carey is kind of finishable in this spot. I think he's been finished quite a bit. I expect Godzi to go in there and either dominant decision or get a finish somewhere inside of 2 rounds.
Yeah, man. I think Bellator next year, we're going to have a lot of Russian and European champions. They're probably going to start, taking over. I think Godzi is part of that clan. Even though we don't know his age, it's very questionable, but we're going to find out Saturday night because it will be in the tail of the tape. So we'll finally find out. And, he's faced the better competition. Daniel Scary Carey, actually. So Godzi might be intimidated by that nickname. So that's one thing. That's one thing you got to put into effect. Scary Carey. And, but yeah, like you said, Godzi's so well-rounded. 5 knockouts, 5 submissions, 5 decisions. Yep. He's like Rory McDonald. He's going to beat you any way he can. And Daniel Carey has been knocked out. He's been submitted as an amateur, and he's lost by a couple decisions. So Daniel Carey does train with Brian Foster, who also is a WSOF vet. I think he fought in UFC as well, Brian Foster.
Oh, yeah. Foster fought quite a few times.
Yeah, he's under Daniel Carey's wing. Brian Foster has taken Daniel Carey under his wing, training him everything he knows. But, like, if you bet on Daniel Carey versus Gotston Bolognese, he was a plus 700. So if you put $100 on Daniel Carey, you're up $700. So you can keep putting $100 on him, and I think he'll be up for the next 7 fights. So, I think people might have a soft spot for Daniel Carey if they cash that night, because Gaston was like, everybody was saying he was the next big thing with that spinning back elbow that laid the guy out cold.
Oh, yeah.
And, I think Godzi's going to win, but like you said, it's not a for sure thing.
Yeah, this is an absolute pass for me. Minus 700 on Godzi.
Wow.
Plus 475 on Daniel Carey, who is the featherweight. This is being fought at 150, but Godzi's going to be cutting weight here, while Daniel will not be cutting any weight. And Daniel's biggest strength is his pace. That is his advantage in pretty much any fight. He's not going to outskill you. It's pace, grit, tenacity that's going to win him a fight. I hate those odds.
Chris Lenciani. That's a huge win.
He has a lot of
unanimous.
He has a lot of very strong wins on his record, honestly.
Chris Lenciani is a competitor. He reminds me of TJ Dillashaw. He hates fucking losing.
Yeah,
so that's a big fucking win.
This is an absolute pass for me.
But I do like Godzi's recent competition. Like I like how he's been active, and he's only lost to like a 20-4 guy, 4-0. Yeah, it's a hard fight to predict, but with the odds, you should really take the underdog.
Yeah, either it's dog or pass for me as well. Next fight here, I believe, did we not break this fight down, Vanessa Porto and Ilir Joanne?
It seems like a fight we have broken down before.
Yeah, because I thought that, but anyways, Vanessa Porto, 22-9, taking on Ilir Joanne. I thought this fight got scrapped kind of last minute because Vanessa was unfit to compete. So I do believe we broke. Oh
yes, we did. Yeah, and the day of, Porto deemed unfit to compete. So
which you don't love to see out of a older fighter in Porto. I'll get to her in a second here. Ilyara has been off since losing to Kana Watanabe, who we're both big fans of, and she lost in the 3rd round to her. So I don't really, no shame there. Before that, Niebard Beck Rawlings.
And for an Asian, she's a good-looking girl.
I don't know what that means, but
can you give me some props on that? Can you?
I'm not going to touch that. I don't know what. Yeah, that's kind of a weird way of phrasing it, bro. But before that, wins over Beck Rawlings.
Beck Rawlings is a legit competitor.
Correct. Christine Lima, 4-7. Erica Souza, so not the best level of competition has a few losses to Bianca Daomi and Fernanda Barbosa. I mean, I haven't really heard of too many of these girls. She is training on Pitbull Brothers. She kind of does fight like a very unskilled Pitbull in a lot of ways, like does go forward, throws a lot of strikes, tries to put the pressure on her opponent, but I think can be overtaken by the more skilled opponent in a lot of cases. But Vanessa Porto, 22-9, she's been around for a long time, 37 years old, and now having weight cut issues at flyweight as a 5'3" flyweight. So that is definitely worrisome for me. She did lose her last fight out to Liz Carmouche in April of 2021, so maybe it was just too close of weight cuts together there in April and then June. It just might have been poorly timed, because I haven't noticed Vanessa having much of an issue with weight cuts prior to that. But Vanessa's faced a much better level of competition. Invicta Staple, Miliana Dudiva, Mariana Moraes, Pearl Gonzalez, and Karina Rodriguez were her wins before losing to Liz Carmouche. All 4 of those fights are better fights than Ileana has faced in her career, in my opinion. So there's a serious advantage in experience and I think an overall skill to Porto. And it's about the conditioning here. It's about, is she fit to compete? Can she make this weight anymore at 37 years old? Has she taken too much damage? Did she get to Bellator too late in her career? These are all kind of the questions I have. Ileana, Joanne, I'm not sure if she's very good. I got to assume Porto gets this one done. And she's a professional. She's made flyweight throughout her career. I just think it was too close of weight cuts together. I'm going to attribute it up to, but I'm not going to be hitching a ton onto Porto, but I'm going to go Porto, veteran experience, more well-rounded, is going to get to fight to the ground, and I think be able to keep it there.
Yeah, man. All my MMA betting guidelines say Porto's going to win. Like, she's faced the better competition. She's more experienced. I think, has she been more active?
Yes, definitely in the last couple of years, yes.
Definitely more active. The only thing is, if it's a close decision, they might just give it to Laura Joanne because she might be more promotable. So,
well, I mean, I can't put that into the bet, really. I mean, like,
I know, but apparently we have to nowadays because Macy lost to fucking Miranda, and Macy is more promotable. So that kind of shit pisses me off, man. Like, last week I didn't even, like, I contemplated. I want to keep betting on MMA, but like the judges have been so sketchy nowadays, man. Especially in Bellator. And I didn't think UFC would pull that shit, but they did. And yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I think Vanessa Porto should for sure get this done, but if it's a really close decision, they might just say Laura Joanne, Scott Coker, walkie-talkie, Laura won. And that's my take. I like Vanessa though. Like,
yeah,
she's
I think
paid
that's
her dues and deserves this.
I think that's a fair take. Also, when I'm looking at lower level women's MMA, particularly when it's a plus 200 dog, I bet them. Ileana plus 200. I'm gonna have to put a small wager on Ileana here. If all things were even, my official pick would be Porto. But honestly, I got Laura on my bet here just from a slight gamble at plus 200. I think this will be a 29-28. Possibly here in both names.
What's Porto's odds? Minus 250?
Minus 275.
I know.
After being unfit to compete only a month ago.
That's tough.
This isn't that much.
I just want to see if the over might be worth taking a look at. So Laura Joanne, 7 out of 9 finishes, right? So 78%.
Yep.
Laura has 6 out of 9 in round 1. So she's 67% in round 1. And Vanessa Porto, 15 out of 22 finishes, 68%. 12 of those have come in round 1. So we really could see a finish in this fight. I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah, no, that's so maybe the under.
So don't even take over 2.5 if people want to parlay that, because we could easily see a finish, even though it's a women's bantamweight fight.
Yep. Yeah, no, that's totally fair. We are on to the main card now. And we're starting with, wouldn't you know
Hashtag
it?
underdogs. Bunny knows what's up.
Yep, Bunny.
That's the only way you win money in MMA, apparently, is if you take the underdogs. Because last week, man, I got to reevaluate. I just have to reevaluate everything.
But we start off the main card with yet another catchweight bout here. This is at 160. And just a heads up to everybody, as soon as we're done with this breakdown, we're going to log off for a minute, log back on with the LFA breakdown immediately following this. It's basically like one mega card here, though. LFA is only 5 fights we're breaking down, so that one will be, pretty quick. But we're starting out at 160 here. Catchweight between Chris Gonzalez and Gotti Yamauchi, not Yamaguchi, Yamauchi. The Brazilian out of Japan, Gotti Yamauchi. I will be breaking down first 25-5, coming off of a really heartbreaker because I had him pretty heavy against Dan Moret. It was a split decision. I do not believe Gotti lost that fight. Dan Moret got a gift of a decision. It cost me quite a few parlays. Before that, Gotti had gotten finishes of Sayawad, Darren Cruikshank, and beat Daniel Weichel via split. Lost to Michael Chandler. His only losses in his last 5 are Michael Chandler and again, that split to Dan Moret, which was very, very tough to take, not only because I bet him, but because I thought he won it. But Gotti, very, very strong grappler, has finishes over Ryan Couture, Adam Piccolotti, Valerio Amir Saya, who I don't know as well, but 18-3, like very strong records. Daniel Weichel was a very good fight. Sayawad, a solid competitor himself, very big. And he's, just been pretty consistent. The Dan Moret fight, though, he allowed it to be kind of a grappling scramble fest, which is how Dan Moret was going to win that fight. And I think his fighter IQ, which was something before that I hadn't really questioned, I had to question a little bit in that fight. So coming back here against Chris Gonzalez. So first of all, 6-0 versus 25-5. Gigantic experience disadvantage here for the 30-year-old CG Chris Gonzalez. Fighting on a team alpha male. Known as, I would say he's known as Jesse Jane's boyfriend. That would be what I know him as, at least. But he's also a decent fighter, just of UFC. Just
he's dating her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, but in Bellator so far, I had a split decision win of 2 very good prospects in Aaron McKenzie and Vladimir Tokov. Vladimir Tokov should not have been a split in my opinion. Also, I was just coming up with a fun fact. Relax.
No, that was a stupid fun fact.
I mean, it's relevant because
I don't even know who Jesse James is, to be honest.
Yeah, she's been out for a little while. Jessica Rose Clark.
Her.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
the reason I bring it up is that
she's relevant.
Yeah, she has access to quite a bit of good training, which Chris has gotten to benefit from. So,
I thought Jessica Rose Clark was banging Sean Strickland.
That's a
different.
We're moving back to the fights. Moving back to the fights here. Coming off of a finish of Roger Huerta. It did take him until round 3 to beat Roger Huerta, who at this point is beyond dust. I just think that overall Chris Gonzalez has a lot of potential. This is a huge, huge opportunity for him coming into this fight. I think that athletically and skill-wise, he can really hang with Gotti in this fight. And Gotti, coming off of that nearly 2-year layoff, seemed to be quite rusty against Moret. And so I'm not sure if we're getting the same Gotti here. I'm actually going to surprise some people. I think most people are expecting me to go with the experience here. The more familiar Bellator product in Gotti. I'm going with Chris Gonzalez. I think he is taking a step up in each one of his last few fights, particularly. He's keeping himself tested. I get Roger Huerta, not a great test. I thought that was a waste of a matchup there, but he did what he needed to, and more importantly, he continues to build up with that cage time. And I just think that I think that Gochi is having a little bit of some issues staying at the same camp. He seems to not really have evolved as an MMA fighter in a little while here. So I think he's kind of gotten used to coasting on what got him here. I think Chris Gonzalez is continuing to evolve and get better. This is a huge opportunity for both guys on a main card of one of the biggest Bellators ever. It's going on Saturday night again. This is going against the UFC. So Bellator knows what they got here. They put Chris Gonzalez in this position, I think, to benefit and platform off of Gochi Yamauchi. So I'm going to take Chris Gonzalez. I'm going to take him by decision. It's hard for me not to take Chris Gonzalez by decision, in all honesty. He's just kind of one of these decision fighters, though. I don't think that means he's not a great fighter and can't compete with the best here. So 30-year-old Chris Gonzalez, I got him here. Decision.
Well, I hope you don't blame me if Chris loses, because I've been high on Chris Gonzalez since we started podcasting together with Aaron the Dog's YouTube and who you were with before. I won't name them, but
yeah, they already stopped by. I can tell.
Yeah, they probably already stopped by, and you know what they do.
Yep.
But like, I've been on Chris's hype train since the beginning, man. I don't think I'm going to be jumping off now.
Oh, damn it. Get off. No, this is my pick. You're supposed to pick Gochi and ridicule me.
I can't, man. You know I was going to be on Chris. You should know this. And Team Alpha Male killed it last week in UFC. I'm pretty sure they went 3-3. They would have went 4-4 if TJ Dillashaw still trained with Team Alpha Male. But
do you guys see a same argument in this matchup? Like, where Gochi, it just seems like Gochi has kind of hit a spot, and 30 fights into his career. It's interesting. He is the younger fighter, but I feel like Gonzalez has that youthful, less MMA wear and tear.
Yeah, and I think he's stronger too. He's got that Greco-Roman wrestling background. The only way I see Gochi winning is by submission, because he could get caught with something even from the bottom. So if this is like the fourth fight from the top, I'm pretty sure.
Fourth or fifth, yeah. It's the first on the main card.
You could easily wait. I don't even know the odds. I'm thinking Chris is the favorite, but you could easily parlay Chris and hedge Gochi by submission, because I don't think Gochi would win a decision over Chris, and I don't think he can knock him out. So it's Gochi sub or nothing.
Well, I got some good news for you, because Chris is the underdog, plus 135.
Wow.
Yeah, and I love it.
We may never see odds like this for Chris Gonzalez again.
Yeah, this is the type of fight where afterwards we start to see pretty. And if he loses this, it's not the end of the world either. Losing to Gochi Yamauchi is not at all anything to hang your head on. But yeah, I think these odds are based on familiarity, not aware of who Chris Gonzalez is yet. And this is the type of fight that Bellator makes, that you're aware of who Chris Gonzalez is after this. Plus 135, I love it as a dog price. I do think
the night, probably.
Yeah, there's a few dogs, man, that we've liked quite a bit on this.
Daniel Carey, maybe.
I mean, if that hits, sure.
That's just that's just like pray for the best.
I might do a Brian Moore, Chris Gonzalez parlay to just shoot it up.
I can't believe Brian Moore is an underdog. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, these are, and so definitely interesting odds. Gonna move on here to the next fight here. This is a great fight at 155. Yeah. Really good fight. Islam,
this is a UFC caliber fight.
Yeah, Islam Mamedov taking on Brett Primus. Brett Primus has been a staple in Bellator for a while now. He is 36 years. He is 36 years old. 10-1 overall. I'm surprised he was 10-1. I thought for some reason
there's one big win he has.
Yeah, and it's over Mr. Michael Chandler, correct?
Mr. Michael Chandler.
Where Michael Chandler,
Bellator lightweight champion of the world.
Yep, Bellator, and Michael Chandler has had a little foot drop in that fight after getting dropped by Brett
Sean
Primus.
O'Malley, Marlon Vera.
Yeah, it was a pretty crazy finish. Michael Chandler did come and avenge that loss. But
50-45. Yeah,
and it was by decision. Michael Chandler certainly showed, I think, that he is better than the ATT Portland product. But Primus came back, beat a solid British veteran and Tim Wilde. Gogo plotted him in the first round. That was really nice.
When do you ever hear Gogo plotted? This is Bellator and you're getting Gogo plotted? That's pretty bad, man.
But Tim
That's
Wilde's
really
not bad, man. Tim Wilde's a good fighter on the.
Has anybody got a Gogo plot in the UFC? Maybe Ben Saunders? Was that the only one?
Yeah, I think Ben Saunders, Nick Diaz.
Man, if you're getting Gogo plotted, you're low level. I'm sorry.
But if you're pulling it off, you're high level because Chris Bungard also got.
He's a grappler though.
Yeah, Chris. Exactly. That's what Primus is.
Yeah.
Chris Bungard also got neck cranked. He then took on Jake Shields in a grappling bout and submitted him.
Yeah, he beat Jake Shields. I love that. I love seeing that.
Submitted him by armbar, although the way that submission underground works, they do set up in overtime. What?
It's after 5 minutes they go to overtime.
Yeah, right. I'm trying to say that, Brandon.
Sorry, I put that up like I'm just reminding, like 5.
Yeah, and they set him up in the submissions to start out. So he was put into an armbar position but still he beat him. Then he went up against Craig Jones. I mean, he's going up against the best of the best grapplers, but he hasn't fought in Bellator since February of last year. He did look very good. Islam Mamedov, 19-1-1, former PFL product. Just a Russian Dagestani out of fighting out of New Jersey. I mean, tell me where you've seen this before. 6 foot, 73-inch reach. I mean, they just grow these guys out of the ground. I'm not sure if he's fighting out of Cerro Longo, but it doesn't really matter. He has just been a savage, man. He got a knee bar in his last fight against a 10-1 opponent who I have not heard of, but still very impressive in UAE Warriors. Before that in PFL, was very successful over there, went 4-1 in 4-0-1 in PFL, having a draw against Loik Radzhabov, who we talked about Godzi earlier, but that was a very good fight. Before that, he was in World Series of Fighting, where he went undefeated as well there, although not beating the best of competition, but he did armbar Natan Schultz, who has gone on to win the PFL championship twice. So that's a very good win. Mamedov should go into this fight and be able to dominate it. I would think kind of pillar to post. I get Primus is a very good grappler, but on the feet, I think Mamedov has such an advantage, and I do think he has the ability to take this fight to the ground as well. I'm going to take Mamedov. I mean, how do you not take the Dagestani 19-1-1? A fighter here, he's mostly a finisher. I think he finishes Brett Primus as well. First guy to finish Brett Primus.
Yeah, this is one of Chael Sonnen's guys, Brett Primus.
Yep.
He's been, he's from Portland, Oregon. He's had a few fights in Submission Underground. I know they pay like $5,000 in that promotion, so he's been getting paychecks there. I have no disregard to Brent Primus. He's a great competitor, but that Michael Chandler win was a bit of a fluke. I think 9 out of 10 times Michael Chandler will win that fight. But
yeah, very clearly.
Very clearly. Islam Mamedov is no joke, man. 19-1-1. He looks like Islam Makhachev. So they're very similar. Their records are very similar. I think Islam's 20-1. So
double the experience.
I think exact same. And maybe Islam's not getting paid as much as Makhachev.
I mean, he won $1 million with World Series of Fighting when he won the championship over there.
Islam Mamedov?
Yeah, he won when it was World Series of Fighting. He won it.
Oh, okay, not PFL. He was very close to winning in PFL too.
And he finished.
I think it was an injury, maybe, or a draw. No,
he had a draw against Loik Radzhabov.
Yeah, who we spoke about earlier with his brother competing on this card.
Yeah.
Look at his wins. Thiago Tavares, who's in the UFC, and Natan Schultz, who's the 2-time PFL champion.
Yep.
He's got a lot of weird names on his record, so I know that's a good thing.
But good records. Weird names with good records. Weird names with good records, though, like 12-1s,
Yeah.
where you can't say either of the names. Yeah, this is one of my favorite. This is one of my favorite prices on the card. Frankly, I get
I'm just worried with Brent's Bellator experience, but experience is experience. It doesn't matter what promotion you're in. Even though Brent has his Bellator, like 5 fights in Bellator or 6 fights, it doesn't mean anything. So
Also,
yeah,
Islam's been fighting in PFL and World Series of Fighting, and even UAE Warriors. Like those are
yeah,
all very high profile.
a lot of eyeballs are still on those promotions.
Yeah, so Brett Primus plus 175 underdog. You got a minus 210 on Islam. I love that as a parlay piece.
I don't know if you should love it, but like put him in a few parlays. Yeah.
I mean, I like it a lot more than minus 1100.
What's the age difference between these two? It's like 4 years. Oh,
well,
fuck. Brett Primus is 36. Yeah.
That's what I'm. That's the other thing is that Brett Primus is 36 years old. I do think that the time is running short, and I think the fact that he's looking into more grappling, that Islam.
And this card is very Russian heavy. Like, there's a lot of people that are coached by the same core of training partners. So I think a big Russian parlay might be a good way to go in this card.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we got one of my favorite Nurmagomedovs here. We got.
I'm gonna guess this is 4 digits.
We got Usman Nurmagomedov, who, my goodness, I love this guy. Oh my God, 12-0. I don't know how the UFC didn't snatch him up, but 23 years old, taking on the Dragon, 12-6.
The 42-year-old.
34-year-old.
Look at him, he looks 42.
Yeah, Manny Murrow, the Dragon.
I don't believe that birth certificate.
First of all, even if his body looks old.
Like, look at that.
Yeah. He's on a 3-fight win streak. He is on a 3-fight win streak on Jackson Winklejohn.
I love the camp.
Which did not, which kind of has meant less and less over time.
AJ Nichols with one arm.
Yeah, AJ Nichols is one of the fighters he's lost to recently, and we've broken him down on some LFAs before. He's not a terrible loss at all. Then he beat Ken Coulter. Nick Newell.
Everybody beat Ken Coulter.
Nick Newell, he got a split decision against, and Devin Powell. He did look pretty good in that fight, kept it on the feet, and but Usman is taking this one all day. I don't want to spend a lot of time on this other than to tell people Usman is the real deal. Khabib's one of Khabib's many cousins here, 5'11", 72-inch reach, 13-fight win streak, coming off of a very dominant decision of a guy, Mike Hamill, who I really do respect. Mike Hamill's had some good wins on his record, got robbed against Bruno Souza, and Mike Hamill just looked like he didn't really belong in there with him. Before that, all finishes other than one fight for Usman. He's a finisher here. I think he finishes Manny Murrow, and impressively.
Didn't Mike Hamill win a round over Usman there?
I don't – possibly. But either way, I – do like Mike Hamill quite a bit. I think that he had a competitive first round.
Yeah.
Which is how Mike Hamill comes out. He comes out quick, aggressive. I don't think Usman is going to have trouble in this one against Manny.
Yeah, 2 scorecards had 30-27. The other one at 29-28.
Yeah, it was a close first round. I think Manny's got – I don't know how Manny wins this fight. I got Usman all day here long.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah.
It's not bettable.
We don't have to spend too much time on this one. Usman all day. He's a young prodigy. Kamzin, Magomed Sharapov, I think you can tie these two together. I think they're both going to make big explanation points in the MMA world. I think we're going to be talking about them a lot in the next year or two. And Usman's 12-0. Like, that's amazing, man. And it's not like he's fighting in bad promotions. He's fighting in UFC, UAE Warriors, Brave CF, and now he's got a win in Bellator already, and Khabib's also undefeated as a coach this year, so he's in the running for Coach of the Year. So expect to see Khabib in the corner. If the odds were
minus 1,500, minus 1,500,
God.
It's gonna be It's gonna be minus 2,000 by fight night.
I was gonna say I put a straight bet on Usman, but there's no way you can make a straight bet on that.
No, it's going to be minus 2,000 by fight night.
Minus 1,500?
Yeah.
I'm about to throw
Against a
my
guy on a
laptop.
three
I'm about to
against a
throw
guy
it.
against a guy on a 3-fight win streak in Bellator.
Yeah, that's the fucked up thing. I thought he'd be closer to like minus 300, minus 400.
You
Like,
know what
come
I blame for
on.
these
That
odds?
fucking last name.
I blame the Manny Murrow topology picture for these odds.
Yeah.
It's just
He's
not
so
doing him
much
any
better
favors.
than what he looks like.
Co-main event here: Mads Burnell, I believe another Team Alpha Male product, if I'm not mistaken, or he has been before. It says he's fighting Arte. Yeah, it says he's fighting Arte Suerve, 5'8", 69-inch reach for the 15-3, 27-year-old Burnell, taking on Emmanuel Sanchez El Matador, 30 years old, turning 31 in about a week also. So a lot of guys who are having birthdays soon, fighting out Rufus Sport MMA. 30 years
31
old.
August 11th, you said?
Yep. 20-5. And so Emmanuel El Matador I'll be starting with here, 5'9", 70-inch reach, fighting out of Rufus Sport, as I said, coming off of that loss to Patricio Pitbull, which, he just got caught in a guillotine very early on, power guillotine from Pitbull. Not a lot of guys are getting out of that. And Pitbull's just got a squeeze like no other. I believe he was the first to put away Emmanuel Sanchez as well. They had fought to a very close decision the first time out as well. So very impressive performance by Patricio there. Before that, Emmanuel was on a 3-fight win streak, beating Giorgio Karakian, who we rated very highly, Taiwan Claxton, who's been a little bit exposed at this point, and Daniel Weichel. He got a unanimous decision there. It's very hard to get a unanimous decision on Weichel. Usually he loses a lot of splits, so props to that performance as well. Emmanuel's been around for a while, man. He's fought so many good guys. The Daniel Strausses of the world, beat Sam Sicilia, finished those guys, has a very good triangle choke, it seems. Has wins over Henry Corrales, Daniel Pineda. He's fought for a long time here and still is only 31 years old. Will have the reach advantage over Mads. Mads is going to look to get in, grapple, as he does in just about every fight here for the Dane here. But, 15-3 for Mads Burnell. It's only 27 years old, which I'm kind of surprised about. It just seems like he's been around a while. Finished Saul Rogers by rear naked choke back in April. We both had Mads in that fight, but definitely fought very impressive in that.
What were the odds on him?
It was, I think Mads was almost minus 200, minus 190.
Yeah.
Then
Good
before that, beat Darko Bonovic by ground and pound. Has a couple Japanese neckties on his record as well over in Cage Warriors. So has a good squeeze. Emmanuel's only been finished one time though, so I've been back and forth. This is the one I probably switch back and forth on the most on the card. I think this is going to be a very good fight, and a part of me just feels like if we're getting into a decision battle here, that Emmanuel might be able to pull it out. I just don't know. My official pick, I guess, would be Emmanuel Sanchez by decision. But I'm not betting this one too heavily, but I assume the odds will be pretty solid as well. So I think it'll be close odds at least. So
I haven't looked at the odds yet, but Mads Burnell is a UFC vet. I think he went 1-3 in the promotion, only losing the best opposition. And Emmanuel Sanchez is no slouch. He's only lost to Patricio Pitbull in the last 3 or 4 years. I just think it's Mads Burnell's time. He hasn't really reached the big show yet. I think there's more on the line for Mads here. He's looked so good lately. I think he's in good hands with whoever he's training with. Denmark. He's fighting out of Denmark, and I'm just gonna take a quick look at his record here. Yeah, Steve Amable, a Cage Warriors vet,
good fighter.
He's 2-0 in Bellator. He showed that he has ground and pound, not just submissions, in his Bellator debut. That was his first knockout in his career. Right. So I think he's turned a corner. I think he's taken this Bellator career a lot more seriously. Emmanuel's been there, done that, and it seems like he's only focused on the Patricio rematch still. He's not even talking about Mads. He wants to fight Patricio again. So I don't.
I mean,
like
you got to aim for the top. I don't think he's overlooking him. I just think he's, he wants to get back to the top.
Yeah,
He
but
didn't have a good performance at all in that last fight. In the first fight, he nearly beat him. I can get it.
You have to realize who you're up against. Mads Burnell is no easy fighter. It's not like you're facing like a Chris Matano. Even though I'm not hating on Chris Matano, it's not that kind of scenario. Mads Burnell is here to make a statement, and I think he wants a title shot eventually. And these European fighters in Bellator, I think, are going to start taking over in the next 1 year, 2 years. So, Emmanuel Sanchez is coming out of Rufus Sport. They haven't really done much lately, other than Sergio Pettis.
Other than the flyweight champion of the world, or the bantamweight champion of the world.
Aljamain doesn't train with Rufus Sport.
No, I meant flyweight champion of the world, Sergio. I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what I said. Sergio Pettis, yeah.
Well, that's a pretty big caveat to have a championship.
Yeah, definitely. But like, other than that, like, you literally, like, Ben Askren is done.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Rufus
Mike
Sport players.
Rhodes.
Anthony Pettis, no more. I just like Mads Burnell at this moment. Tyron Claxton, I really don't hold in high regard. Taiwan shouldn't even be in Bellator. He should be like a contender series fighter. Daniel Weichel, another fighter we've been talking about. He loses a lot. He's getting older. And Georgie Karakian. Georgie came in short notice for that fight. Sam Cecilia, another UFC vet who hasn't really lived up to expectations. I just think he's got a lot of gimme opponents. And Mads Burnell, like, I'm not super high on Mads either, but I think he's got the momentum right now, and that speaks volumes in MMA.
Fair enough. Mads is the minus 120 favorite, plus 100 on Emmanuel Sanchez. Very closely contested fight. I just think that the guy who knows how to navigate to the decision better is Emmanuel Sanchez.
TJ Dillashaw did that last week.
Yep.
So
and I just
it
believe
all depends
that
the judges.
Yeah. I just think that the better this may not be the best way to look at it, but the better decision fighter of these two is Emmanuel Sanchez, in my opinion.
Yeah, especially when he won 5 rounds with Patricio.
It's very hard. It's very hard to take down. So then, if it turns into a boxing bout for Mads, I do not have faith in Mads be able to pull out a decision there too. So it really is contingent on Mads getting that top control. We are to the main event of the.
This is an easy fight to start off. Like, this is an easy fight to introduce. So I'll be right back. Okay.
Yeah, no problem. The main event of the
best fight of the weekend.
Well, yeah, the best fight of the weekend. One of the best fights in Bellator history here, matchup-wise at least. We've got the double champ, Patricio Pitbull taking on A.J. McKee Jr. here. 17-0 versus 32-4. We're going to start with the mercenary, A.J. McKee Jr., 17-0. He is Bellator product, 22 straight wins going back to his amateur bout. He's been in Bellator since his debut. He's been in Bellator the whole time. That is absolutely incredible. He was brought along very deliberately, beat some very good fighters along the way here, took the steps up at an appropriate time, has always been at 145. Finished Brian Moore, and that was one of his toughest fights in Bellator, and Brian Moore did rock him, and he was able to come back from the adversity. Since that Brian Moore fight, it's just been dominance. Knocked out John Teixeira, has, very long, powerful strikes, put away Giorgio Karakian inside of 10 seconds, had a really impressive armbar finish of Campos in the Grand Prix as well as his modified neck crank of Darian Caldwell, the wrestler. Darian Caldwell is, smaller for the division, but still came out and just kind of has buzzsawed through his opponents. Very confident fighter. Definitely that new era of MMA. He is good everywhere. His grappling particularly stands out for me, but the strikes are very good. Has a 73.5-inch reach, but fights a lot longer than that with how he stands, and just overall, I just kind of question if that's really an accurate measurement or not. He really catches fighters at the end of his punches here. I do think distance control and movement could be huge for him here against Patricio. He cannot allow Patricio into the phone booth, particularly Patricio, to get him down, because there's a 7-inch reach disadvantage, 8-inch reach disadvantage for Patricio in this fight. So on the feet, he's going to have some issues. I think getting this fight to the ground, he could also have some issues. A.J. McKee is so quick, so athletic, manages range and distance so well. Besides that Brian Moore fight, he has not shown the ability to get hit too often, and I do think he learned a ton from that Brian Moore fight defensively. He has been a different fighter since that Brian Moore fight. Those are the kind of fights that younger fighters lose and then have to learn from. He learned his lessons in a win, and that's what he's had to do because he's 17-0. It's all been in Bellator. It's crazy. This is just such a great matchup here, but 8-inch reach disadvantage for Patricio.
The dream matchup.
Yeah, 8-inch reach disadvantage for Patricio. He is now 34 years old and fighting at 145. He moved up to 155 for a reason. I think this weight cut is not that simple for him.
He can do it no problem. If he's been doing it every 3 months, I don't think it's a big deal.
Yeah, but at some point at 34, 35, 36, this is when you see fighters moving up in weight.
TJ Dillashaw, man. Like, I think people are just different. Athletes are different.
Well, TJ Dillashaw left the 125 division to go back to 135 because of how much it killed him at 33.
He went down there to become a double champ. It's not like he was at 125.
Okay. Anyways, Patricio's still 34 years old, and it's still a tough weight cut. I don't care what anybody says for anybody particularly when he's as well muscled and stocky as he is. I mean, this is a
TJ didn't lose. Look at the record. I'd be a lot wealthier if TJ lost.
I'm not talking about TJ.
No, I'm saying Boston comments.
Oh, it's okay. Like, let me try to get through the. You can talk in a second, and then I won't interrupt you, and you'll see how nice it is to be able to speak. Patricio, though, I mean, he hasn't lost since the Benson Henderson fight where he had a leg injury. That was back in August of 2016. Before that, he did have a decision loss to Strauss in 2015, but other than that, avenged his loss to Strauss, choked him out, beat Henry Corrales, choked him out, split decision over Daniel Weichel, who everybody beats according to Brandon. Emmanuel Sanchez got a competitive decision, then again kind of refound himself here, knocked out Michael Chandler very quickly, mostly dominated Juan Archuleta, who ended up moving down to bantamweight after that fight in his next one. And then Pedro Carvalho and Emmanuel Sanchez finished both in the tournament, both within a round. I don't know. Like, I really kind of have trouble getting a read on this fight. I see it going one of two ways. Like, I see Patricio coming out buzzsawing round one finish of A.J. McKee. A.J. McKee never been hit in such a way, or it turns into kind of 5-round war where I think it turns into anybody's fight. I think that both fighters very likely get rounds in this fight. And so that leaves me with, is this the torch passing situation here for A.J. McKee? And I'm going to say yes. I'm going to say that A.J. McKee has done everything right leading up to this fight. He's been building up to this for a long time. Did not rush into this situation. In the Grand Prix, I do think he's had the easier fights of the two opponents, but he finished both of them. Both guys have finished both. They're both coming in extremely confident, I think, in both really wanting to prove to the other fighter. Dogs fighting in the background. They're excited about this fight. I got A.J. McKee by decision. That 8-inch reach disadvantage, the speed, the athleticism, the youth. I just think A.J. McKee is ready for this step up, and he beats Patricio in a potential classic decision here for McKee. Could very well be seeing a rematch of this fight near the year's end. This is a great fight.
Great breakdown, Aaron. Like, I don't have much to say. We're doing the LFA in 4 minutes. I appreciate Boston comments chiming in always. Like last week's UFC, I'm still pretty salty on with TJ losing and Miranda Maverick and Kyler Phillips not getting that draw. I might still be a little salty and uptight about it, but like it is what it is. We're gonna move on, and this is one of my favorite fights of the year. Um, UFC's on at the same time, so you're gonna have to double screen this. Put one on your laptop, put one on the TV, or whatever setup you have, because I think the main event might be starting around the same time as the main event as the UFC.
Well, Bellator
And
is starting an hour later. I think they're trying to get a clear main event for just them. So
Okay,
they're
good.
starting an hour later. I'm not positive, though.
Yeah, I'm gonna take the old guard in this fight. Patricio's been there, done that. He's the man of the Bellator. I think Bellator does want AJ McKee to win because of the potential AJ has, and they could.
I mean, he's
promote
literally their baby.
so
He was
easily.
born. He was born in the Bellator. All of his pro fights have been in Bellator.
Yeah,
Of
but I
course-
still think Patricio's been fighting in Bellator longer than AJ McKee. If you look at the
But the investment is in AJ McKee here.
no,
They're
I'm
not-
saying, yeah, I'm saying Bellator would heavily want AJ to win, but Patricio is no fucking joke, man. He's only lost to that fluke leg injury to Benson
Yep.
Henderson, and other than that, he's been flawless. And I think he's in good hands with Henry Cejudo and his team with Eric. I can't remember his last name, Eric something, but
Del Fiero, or is it?
Eric
It's not
Del
Del
Fiero, yeah, with the glasses, that guy with the glasses on all the time, and he always hypes up their fights. Yeah, I'm just gonna take the old guard. I'm not completely confident, 100% confident. I might, just like the Douglas Lima and Yaroslav Amosov fight, I might just watch this as a fan and not invest heavily, because I loved watching fights as a fan instead of betting, because when you're betting on fights, you just look at it at a different perspective and you don't enjoy it as much. But
Speak for yourself.
I'm very excited for this fight, and yeah, I'll probably be parlaying Patricio in a few things, and I'll probably hedge AJ McKee inside the distance.
All right. Yeah, I think that I just see it as a decision for AJ McKee. I have a hard time seeing, even though he's been quite a finisher, I just think that in this fight he's going to have to be much more tactical and precise with his offense and much more focused on the defense, because
Yeah, don't get into a brawl with Patricio.
if he takes the shots Brian Moore got on him, like if Patricio gets those same shots, which Brian Moore probably has a similar reach to AJ McKee. So, and AJ McKee did not like getting hit, and he's never going to be hit harder than this fight. So these are all things that are very, very,
and he gets taken down very easily, even though he has a great guard. Like, I don't see Patricio getting submitted by a modified whatever that he.
I didn't see Darian Caldwell getting submitted by that either, though, man. Darian Caldwell is a very good
I knew I had AJ in that fight, but I didn't think it would happen that way.
Yeah, that is a good point. I mean, it's just the places where McKee can get the submissions from, though, Patricio can't from a physical reach perspective. And there's weird angles a lot of McKee's finishes have gone on simply because that frame he fights in.
Yeah,
so
either way, we're going to see a rematch between these two, because I think AJ wants to go to 155 and challenge him for that belt too. So
yeah, I mean,
even if Patricio wins, I think we'll see a rematch no matter what.
Yeah, I really like how AJ's been brought along. The way Bellator's developed.
Everybody's always got to go eventually, unless you're Habib.
Yeah, exactly. But this is a great fight, very closely matched, odds-wise as well. Minus 125 for Patricio, plus 105 on AJ McKee. I think those odds kind of stay locked there. I would think that.
It's a toss-up.
I think those are accurate odds as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is a great fight. I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see the next one. We are gonna say a goodbye for a very brief moment as we kind of reset up here and we finish with our 5 LFA fights here. It's going to be a real quick video, probably about 30 minutes or so, but we'll be right back if you want to join us. But for Aaron,
you better be coming back. Everybody who's watching, the three of you better be coming back.
I mean, hey, I see 7 right now.
7, let's go.
Yeah, but the entire card absolutely does slap. This is a Saturday worthy. This outperforms the UFC card. I will say that
Well,
much.
I wouldn't say that, but
I think top to bottom it has more skill than the UFC card tomorrow. But I will be breaking that down with Brian tomorrow. Thank you, Bunny. But we will be back with our LFA breakdown. Our LFA videos do better than any other videos.
For now, we'll be right back.
It's not goodbye. It's see you later. Keep taking care of each other out there and cash those bets. We'll see you soon. 2 minutes out. Peace.
Peace.